by for the Brewery Underground Podcast.
In Nashville's heart will rise, craft and brews will meet the skies. Steve and Scott, they lead the way, Brewery Underground night and day. Raise your glass, let's ignite, in this city we unite. Raise your glass, let's ignite, in this city we unite.
Hey, here we are, the Brewery Underground Podcast. We are returning again for another episode this week. We are in Nashville, Tennessee. I am Steve. You are who again?
Scott.
You're Scott. That's right.
I told you I didn't study.
Does it say that on your shirt?
No, I don't know.
You gotta look
My
at your
mom
name.
wrote it in the. My mom wrote it in the tag. I was looking for it
Oh
somewhere.
man, yeah, that's right.
we're
I have
back,
to look
baby.
down.
We're back. Yeah,
We're back.
Good.
That's right. I have to look down on my shirt because it doesn't say Steve. It says Cincinnati.
I can find you.
And
I can
there's a-
find you in a lineup anywhere.
You can. Yeah, I would stand out quite a bit in a lineup. That's right. But Cincinnati, we are talking about all things Cincinnati and beer tonight on this podcast episode because we have from my hometown of Cincinnati, we have Matt and Ryan. They are the Cincinnati Brew Dads guys. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, this is great.
I think they've shortened it a little bit to Cincy Brew Dads.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
it probably makes for the emails to be a little shorter.
That's true.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, guys, thanks for joining us, man. The reason, not the reason, but we saw you guys just kind of early on, whether it was YouTube or Instagram. I'm like, these guys are beer drinkers. These guys are just regular old down to earth buddies, beer drinkers. And I was like, I like these guys right out of the gate before we even talked.
Great. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I've been passionate for beer for a very long time. Ryan moved in next door in 2020 and more passion for beer. Got Untapped. It became a game. How many beers can we find and check into?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of questions I got to ask you guys straight out of the gate as a guy that is from Cincinnati like myself.
Yeah.
Are you an East Sider or are you a West Sider?
I'm a centralist.
Okay.
Well, we live outside the 275 loop, so I don't know what that counts for.
We're
north.
We're in the Great White North right now.
Yeah, I guess.
You're in the Great White
yeah.
North. What
Yeah,
part of what
yeah.
part of town?
Liberty Township, Monroe area.
Yep.
Yeah. But I grew up in like the Forest Park and Springdale area.
Yeah.
So for me, like Coleraine Avenue was west and Montgomery Road was east.
Yeah.
And we kind of kept everything right in the middle there.
All right.
I've been basically in this area all the time I've lived here. Moved here when I was 8 years old, so I'm basically Cincinnati more than anything else. So
Well, I'm a West Sider by nature.
Yep.
And of course, the next question, because anytime you run into somebody from like Cincinnati, you start asking what side of town. You know, and we say, well, I'm West Sider. All right, the next question, we're not going to do all this all night, but the
High
next
school.
question, high school, that's right. Which high school?
Monroe for me.
All right.
Princeton for me.
Oh, Princeton. Yeah. I have a really funny story about that. So a couple of years ago when Scott and I were up there and we actually stayed right by Third Eye and we were going past Princeton High School and I looked at Scott and I said, here's some random trivia for you that you're not going to care about. But I said, Princeton High School, that's where Carmen Electra went to high school.
Yeah, she went there for a year, I think, and then she was at the School of the Creative Performing Arts downtown. Is what I hear. Yeah,
There
And he
you
was
go.
right. I didn't care.
He didn't care. No. Nah, just that random thing. Well, I went to Coleraine, so I grew up in Coleraine. And then the third question, I mean, we could go on all night with these, but the third question, probably the most important, Skyline or Gold Star?
I knew that was gonna be the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually Skyline. I am not an elitist. Like I don't want to say like if you like Skyline, you can't like Gold Star because they are so similar. I almost think Gold Star's Conies might be better. It might be the hot dog, but Skyline's usually my pick.
Yeah, I was Gold Star for a long time with the caveat that I'd eat either, and they really weren't that different. But then I married into a Skyline family, so I really don't eat Gold Star anymore.
Yeah.
Is that a guilty pleasure, Matt? You're out by yourself one day, and every now you just sneak in somewhere. You're like, you know what?
Well,
Nobody
there's
has
a
to
Gold
know.
Star within walking distance of my office, so I have been known to go there from time to time. So
I had to break down about 2 weeks ago and go to the store. I have not been to Cincinnati since December, and I was like, I got to go. I don't normally go and get like the frozen stuff at the store, but I had to break down and get some. So
Yeah.
I'll be up there soon to get some.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had Blue Ash chili?
I have, yeah. It's been a long time, but yeah, I've had Blue Ash chili.
Blue Ash chili is similar. It's good. It's meaty. And also, instead of just doing like all the way up to the 5-way, they have the 6-way where you can add the fried jalapeno caps to it too. And if you like a little spice, that's good too.
Like, Steve, you haven't taken me there yet. When we get up that way next, we'll go.
Yeah.
If you're allowed to be seen outside of Skyline. I don't know.
That's right. I am. Yeah. Well, I got Scott in the Skyline chili a few years ago, probably about 8 or 9 years ago when we were rolling on through. And first time he went there, I thought he ain't gonna like it, and I really wasn't convinced he was. And then I knew he was over the last couple of years, but then over the past year or so, he went through Cincinnati with his nephew, and they stopped at Skyline Chili, and they're texting me pictures, and I'm like, wow, you must really like it because you went there without me.
I took him. It was a rite of passage for him.
Yeah.
I took him. He'd never been. I said, like it or not, you're going. And we went. And he said
Awesome.
he enjoyed it. I don't know. He said he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
I like
I
it.
can't eat it like you.
You
Go
got to be
ahead,
in the
go
mood
ahead.
for it. I couldn't eat it all the time, but it is good.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Now, if we're there, and if we're there 4 or 5 days, Steve could eat it all 4 or 5 days that we're there. He doesn't.
Well,
but
if
I
you're
think
in
he
town
could.
and you
Yes,
don't get it all the time, sure.
Yeah.
But I've been known to come to town for about 4 days and have it maybe twice, maybe 3 times, or take some home. So, that's just one of the things.
Yeah, I had an ex-brother-in-law who, whenever he would come to town, he would get I believe, 6 cheese conies.
Wow.
And eat them all at a sitting. And I was like,
That's too much.
yeah.
That's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save some for
2's
another
about my
day.
limit.
I got
So
a
what are you
teenager.
guys drinking tonight? We see it looks like you have some Third Eye, is that right?
You've got Third Eye, but I've got the Third Eye glass. So this is Valkyrie, a Norwegian IPA from Esoteric.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I have Inner Sight, which is the black walnut brown ale from Third Eye.
All right.
Delicious.
Yes,
Nice.
mine is good as
I'll go
well.
next.
Very good.
You may have heard of these guys, Great Lakes. We happen to have them in Tennessee now. Not this particular one, but I have one. The Conway's Irish Ale. I have the stout in the fridge.
I got some of those in my fridge right now. So
Oh, yeah. I was say we just drank one of those yesterday
Yeah.
for some content.
Nice.
Some good
It's a
stuff.
good beer.
Yeah.
Steve, what have you got?
Well, I brought the Cincinnati tonight. I am drinking the McCool from Rheingeist right here.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Haven't had it yet. Started drinking it a few minutes ago. It is good. And of all the check-ins I have on tap from breweries, Rheingeist is my number 1 ranked check-in. So yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
He
One
was-
of my favorites up there.
He was reading the can before, and I've had it, and it was very good. But it's had notes of coffee, which I did not realize in an Irish
Just a
red
little
or
bit.
an Irish ale. So that's what it said on the can, which I thought was pretty interesting.
I don't remember if we picked up the coffee or not. I know we even reviewed that.
Yeah, we did an Instagram review.
Yeah,
of
on
it,
Instagram. And I don't remember if we got the coffee. I just remember we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good. When I was in Columbus last, I stopped at a tap room, and they had that, and I had that first, and they had another Irish red on tap right next to it, and I had them both side by side, and the McCools blew it out of the water.
Yeah, I know we liked it a lot. We put it in the 4s somewhere because
Yeah.
it's really solid for a red. So
Yeah.
Nice. So, guys, I even have a note here. I was going to ask you how you guys know each other, and I even have, I picture you guys living on the same street. You literally just told us you live right next door to each other.
We're
Yep.
literally next door to one
next door
another.
neighbors. That's it.
That is kismet.
I moved into the neighborhood right before everything got shut down with quarantine.
Wow. Okay.
And then it was like Mother's Day that year. This huge storm blew through, and our privacy fence literally blew into Matt's yard, just toppled over.
We had a boardwalk
So,
between our yards
yeah,
for
so
a
we
little
had a
bit.
nice boardwalk between our yards at one point. But like the next day or whatever, I told my wife, so we should probably go talk to these new neighbors and just acknowledge the fact that we are aware our fence is laying in their yard. So, and after that, then like we just started talking about, like beer, and then
Nerdy things.
yeah,
and-
you couldn't socialize at that
Yeah.
time unless you're outside. So we would have porch beers, which we continue to this day, and with the wives, and
Yep.
just kind of our way of once a week, sometimes twice a week, just getting together,
Yeah.
having beers. Even when it got cold, we were in his garage with space heaters. So we were pretty diligent about keeping it
Yeah.
going.
When did the actual Cincy Brew Dads form? I know you had some get-togethers and stuff, but when did you say we need to do something with this
You want to
and
take that one?
create
Yeah.
something?
So we always have a special place in our heart for Listerman Brewing because it was March, I think, of last
Pour
year.
one out.
March of last year, we were sitting at Listerman, and Ryan was like, we should probably be filming this. And I was like, all right, let's do it. I went and bought microphones and a stand the next day. And it's like, just felt like one of those things. It's like people will talk about something like that. And I just felt like we just need to do it. So I just started buying stuff, started thinking about names. He's a graphic designer, so he did our logo and everything. And it just kind of blossomed from there. So we started filming in June, and our first post was in July.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
We-
we had just started going to breweries like once a month at the
Yeah.
beginning of that year. So that's why by the time we got to Listerman, and we had some thoughts about where Listerman was at that point. That's
Yeah,
why
we
I was
did.
like-
Yeah.
I was like, do you think we should be recording this? And he was like, do it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So
Well, I have to say that it broke my heart when they closed. I mean, I knew, I'd heard over the last few years when they changed hands that there were some things going on.
Yeah.
But man, Scott and I mean, some other friends, we have some friends, the Hill Tappers out of Louisville, and they were there. We were all up there in May of last year at Listerman. Probably, I guess, Scott, you and I probably had gone there over the last 10 years or so, every time we'd come up, once or twice a year. And I remember seeing the night that I saw they were going to close the next day. And it was just like one of those, oh my God, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
No warning. Straight out of the
No
blue.
warning, no warning. And I still have not heard anything about why that happened. Have you guys ever heard as to anything about why it was so abrupt?
no, I just
I
heard
don't think so.
my
No.
ownership wanted out basically.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
and they had the Chicao day, and then the next day they're like, yeah, we're closed.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
very odd. Like they didn't give anyone any
Wow.
notice. So that kind of put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah.
Even by the time we went there, and I had many Listerman beers in the can.
That was something we drank on the porch a lot and had
Yeah.
a great affinity for
And
several
then when we
beers
went there,
Yeah.
there were so many red flags, and
Yeah.
I was like, "What's going on with this place?" Yeah. So we weren't surprised. We were sad, but not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely hated it though, because for years, and we'll get to talking about some of your favorite breweries up there, but for years, if you had to name like my top 5 breweries up there, that was one of them. And
Mhm.
I
Absolutely.
know we had heard when they, a couple of years ago, when we've been up there and we've been in some other breweries, we started hearing the chatter about new ownership, and there was a lot of hard feelings of different things, and some of the other folks that had ran it had scattered and gone to other places. And so, it's just really unfortunate that such a brand, I really hope at some point, I don't know where those recipes are now or who has them, but I hope at
Yeah.
some point somebody brings back some of the recipes of Listerman, because man, what a
Yeah.
great brand.
Yeah. Well, apparently the recipes aren't proprietary, so if any of the past brewers have them, they could
Sure.
use them. I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be great.
Didn't one of the guys go to Wandering Monsters?
yeah. Well,
Yes.
Listerman like has reproduced all over the place. I guess
Yeah.
like one of the brewers went to Fretboard and was a brewer
right.
at
Yeah.
Fretboard, and then Jason Brewer, who's not a brewer, even though his name is Brewer,
That messes me up every
went and
time.
started Wandering Monsters. And I think there's another guy who went, just recently, Cartridge. I forget his name. The brewer at Cartridge Brewing came from Listerman also. So we have still a Listerman presence around the city.
Yeah,
good.
At
yeah.
that point, Wandering Monster and Cartridge make fantastic beers. So
They both do.
hopefully maybe Listerman lives on. The old Listerman lives on a little bit there. So
Well, and Wandering Monsters, we have not been to. I actually had them. Um, I haven't been to the brewery, but last year I was up there, um, or the year before, I should say. It was Mitten Fest,
Mm.
and they were there, and I think I had maybe one or two of their beers at that point, and that's when I heard, a lot more about. They have sort of the Listerman connection, and
Hmm.
so Scott and I are actually coming up in October. Or September, I should say, for Oktoberfest Cincinnati,
Yes.
and we'll be up there for a few days. And Wandering Monsters is definitely on the list
That's good.
to get there this particular time. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
you guys have been there.
Yeah. We went there. We filmed an episode there. I actually painted one of the garage doors there.
Nice.
There's some contest, and there's 3 garage doors, and I was one of the ones chosen. So I got to paint one of the garage doors. And yeah, I was even going to ask you guys, since I heard you were coming up Oktoberfest. I'm like, okay, where haven't you been? Because Matt and I want to be like your Sherpas to take you to a place you haven't been yet. And Wandering Monster was one of the ones that was. I was like, I don't know if
That'd
I've
be a
been to
top
Wandering
pick for
Monsters.
sure.
That would be
Yeah.
definitely one that you should definitely go to.
So
We
here
will-
is sort of I
We
know
will coordinate.
yeah, I know where I want to try to get to this time. So that area, I have a cousin who lives over in that area, and a few
Mhm.
years ago, he took us to Mount Carmel. And that was a fun night. And then we went to Street Side, and of course, that was a great night.
Love Street
Going
Side.
to
Yeah,
Street Side
absolutely.
as well. In fact, we're getting them on the podcast here soon, so that's going to
Nice.
be
Oh, that's
going to be
awesome.
fun. But
Great. No, everybody knows. Oh, great.
Spoilers.
you can edit it
Spoiler.
out there, Scott.
No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't know that was a spoiler, Scott. You can edit it out.
It's not. I'm just kidding.
I know, but no, I think on that side of town, like last year we ventured out to Little Miami, which was a
Mm.
long overdue trip, and we knew that. It just rained the day we went there, so we weren't able to sit outside. So we're hoping to get back
Aw.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely want to get the Wandering Monsters. I've heard, well, Paradise Brewing. I have
Yeah,
not
we've never
been.
been there, but it looks
Yeah.
like quite a place. Like it's like wood paneling, and it looks
Yeah.
old school. But I've heard good things about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also not too far from there, another place we've not been is Deadlow.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys had just checked in the other day. You were checking in the Phoenix, a Mexican lager, which I've had.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. That's up right now. I think it posted yesterday or short.
You know, it was like
or
like
2 days
4
ago.
days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we definitely
Yeah.
want to try more Deadlow stuff.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to barrage that area of some breweries that we haven't been to over there, and hopefully get to some of those. And then the other one is Big Ash.
Okay.
Yeah, so hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
I've
we'll
not been to
accomplish some
Big
of that.
Ash.
Yeah. That's a,
That's one thing that's been fun about doing this.
Yeah.
Is like it was kind of a reason for us to do it, is because we're in this brewery rich environment. And there's so many we still haven't even been to yet. So it's like
Yeah.
our way of like, okay, which one are we gonna go to this time that we've never been to? So it's like we're like discovering our city as we go as
Yeah.
well.
Well, and Scott knows this, and like me being from the area, I'll tell him like, okay, so if we're gonna go here, and usually we've tried to stay over in like the Oakley area, which is kind of a center point for things,
yeah.
and there's so many like north of where you guys are, and we've hit some of those, but we really want to get at some point. We've gone to Sonder up in Mason,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but at some point, and you mentioned Cartridge.
Yes,
We know where
Cartridge is
that
great.
is, but it's so far up. It's just like gotta take some time to figure out how to get to all those at some
Yeah.
point.
So
Right, Scott?
if you stay in Oakley, did you make it to Nine Giant? That's in Pleasant Ridge.
So we've been to Nine Giant. We haven't been to the Fermatorium,
Mm,
and
that's
that's
the best
another
part.
one.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't open a couple of years ago when we went, but that's another one that I think on this particular trip that we want to get to. So yeah, there's going to be a lot, hopefully, that we're going to accomplish on this trip.
Yeah. The Fermentorium is great. It's got lots of big experimental beers, more than just
Yep.
what's on their regular tap list. I was gonna, if you even make it up to Cartridge, if you just go a little further north. Now there's also Depot Brewing in Morrow, Ohio. So there's
BC's is nearby too.
and BC's
Yep.
Brewing in Mason is right there also. So there's a few that you could batch those together as well pretty easily.
Well, we keep adding days every time we go, so this is just another. I swear, guys, it went from a long like Memorial Day weekend to like I don't know, what did we say, 10 days last time between Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, kind of back through Louisville. I mean, it was 8, 9, 10 days in the last time we went up there, so we keep adding days. It'll be a month sometime soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a great month.
I think if you obviously when people are talking about that area, because it is so spread out, so the tri-state as they call it, if you're looking at that, so from like north of Kentucky all the way up to where you're talking about, like north of town, Mason and all that, I think we probably have been to about 40 breweries, which is probably about half.
That's respectable.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
It's to always kind of, we can't get them all, save some for another trip, right? We're going to go Indigos more often, but we go back, hey, let's save something else. And we have our staples that we like to go to, but here's, next time we'll go a little further out, or we're going this direction, or we're going this area that we haven't been to. And we just keep checking boxes.
Yeah, that's great. Even Northern Kentucky has two of our favorites, like Fabled and Wooden Cask.
Yep.
Like you can't go wrong with either one of those. And of course, Braxton's there too, and Braxton Barrel House. So there's a few other options also in that area. But Wooden Cask and Fabled, like we've discovered those since we've started this channel, and they're way up our list already.
Yeah, we went to Fabled last year on the way into town. Hit there. We actually probably would have stayed there a little bit longer, but the day we were coming up, we were going to a Reds game, and they moved it up like an hour and a half because it was going to rain. And so we got in town. I mean, we were coming in town that day, and then we went to Fabled, and it was like an hour, and then we had to get the heck out of there because we had to get downtown, to go to the ballpark. But
An hour is not long enough.
Yeah, been to Wooden Cask a couple times. We didn't go there last year because we ended up going. Scott got introduced. I've been there a couple times. Have you guys been to Darkness over in Newport?
Not been to Darkness, and we also have not yet been to the West 6 Tap House. That's right there too.
Yeah, we went there. Yep. Went there too. It's right within walking distance of Braxton over there in Covington.
Great spot. Yeah. They call it Covington House, I think. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Spot.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
You guys drink beers on porches. Whose porch do we find you in today? And then do you alternate? And you just kind of like, hey, we're over here tonight, or we're over here tonight. How does that work?
When we film, we're typically filming on his porch.
Yeah, this is Ryan's porch.
But this is my porch.
Yeah.
Is it just the aesthetic?
Yeah, we filmed here a few times.
Yeah.
And we were trying to change things up and just see what works and throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Sure.
So you touched on kind of what you do, but talk a little bit more about what Cincy Brew Dads is. You got a YouTube channel, you've got Instagram, you guys are all over the place. Kind of talk about what it is you do, because you're putting stuff, your content is incredible and it's out all the time. You kind of talk and go into that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it really, we always say, and we joke with people, we are doing exactly what we were doing before we stuck a camera up. We sit out, we drink a beer, we talk about what we like about it, the qualities about it. We always rate things on Untapped. Like you said, we were going to breweries before, but last year we said we got to go to a brewery a month. We've already bumped that up. Just, added the ideas of like, okay, how's the venue? How's the food? We keep growing it with more ideas of different things we can do. It's everything we do already, and just a couple things we've added to it, So.
Yeah, we'll do like our styles clash, we call it, which is like a blind taste test of 4 beers of the same style.
Yeah.
And we always taste them, and then we rank our favorite to our least favorite, and then we just play this stupid guessing game, trying to guess which brewery brewed what. And we just put like, just a fun little game element to it. And we also do like our variety show. We usually get a variety pack, and we'll just kind of go through the variety pack and see what's in there, or we'll have to make our own if we can't find a variety pack.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot of fun. And initially, I don't remember what our original schedule was, but now somehow we find ourselves every other day, at least we're coming out with something.
Yeah.
And putting something out there. And sometimes I wonder why we did that to ourselves, but we're able to stick with it.
It's working.
Right now it's working. Yeah. And I'm able to keep up with the editing. So figure, the more we get out there, at least more people will start to go, oh yeah, I know who those guys are, and and it's already we're not like got a huge following at all or anything, but it's already afforded us like so many opportunities already that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah, that's true.
Which has been like one of the funnest parts, and even some of the people we've met along the way, like you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, likewise,
Well,
and it's kind of the
yeah.
same for us. It's just the more you're into it, the more you come across other people's paths, and whether it's the beer community or local brewers or just anybody in the community, and you start having these conversations of like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a fun community of people for sure. So
We've met a lot of great people with the beer community along the way, and like I said, I've mentioned our friends Tom and Brad, the Hill Tappers, and 2 years ago they came through Nashville, and they had I guess listened to the podcast, and they were messaging us about, hey, can you guys recommend a couple of breweries if we're coming down here? And we're like, yeah. And then they're like, hey, would you guys want to meet up? And we did. And then after that, they're like brothers to us, man. I mean, they've come up to Cincy when we've, the last couple of years when we've gone to, a couple of breweries. We went to Tailspin a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. Well, at that time we were getting this out, but it was back in early March that we went to Tailspin and hung out with them for a couple of, day or two. So it's just been a lot of fun, as you said, just meeting a lot of fun folks in the beer community.
Yeah. We always talked that we want to, eventually travel. And I was like, well, we know two guys in Nashville. So
That's right.
and I'm all about eating some hot chicken and drinking some beer.
Oh,
So
There
you
you
already
go.
said you like some spicy stuff, so I know exactly where I'm going to bring you.
yeah.
Nashville is one of my favorite cities south. We honeymooned there. I've been there probably half a dozen times or better. I've not done a brewery experience down there yet, so that's definitely a worthwhile adventure. So
I know you
It's
guys
good.
say you met as neighbors, but like individually, how many years were you drinking craft beer? And really what, for the both of you, got you into drinking craft beer?
that's a great question.
Yeah.
I gotta think now. I didn't study.
I'm trying to think. I was actually late to the beer game. Like I even was late to drinking in general. I think I had started having my first alcoholic beverages at like 25, and it wasn't even until a few years after that where like I started drinking beer, and starting to figure out what I started liking. And I remember like Magic Hat Number 9 was one of the first ones where I was like, oh, this doesn't taste like the other beers. Like there's something different about this. So that kind of opened my perspective. And then locally, like when I started going to Sonder, that's kind of what like busted open the entire like local craft beer scene to me. And I remember like even when I first met him, I was like, "You've been to Sonder? Have you gone to Sonder?" Like always bringing up Sonder a lot.
Yeah.
But since then, it's just expanded my love of so many different styles and so many different breweries and all that.
So I will not disclose what age I was when I started drinking, but it was all garbage beer back then. I didn't drink it for the pleasure of it. My first beer that really opened my eyes to quality beer was a Stella. I had a
Okay.
Stella,
Wow.
yeah, and I was like, okay, wow, this is pretty good. And so just kind of from there, just a little bit something new, just started expanding from there. That was probably my mid-20s, probably similar to you in that respect.
Mhm.
I liked a lot of maltier stuff at first. That when he moved in, that's the reason I got into IPAs.
Yeah.
I'd never really liked them before, but we started milkshake IPAs and then New Englands and hazies and stuff like that. So definitely broadened my horizons since then. But
Yeah, I had to kind of usher him into IPAs.
Yeah.
And I was like, all the IPAs aren't what you're saying. Like, you have to know what type of IPA you're getting.
Yeah.
And we started getting, and then since then, it's like one of his favorite styles.
absolutely. So,
It's amazing when you start going down that path, how one thing leads to another, and you meet a guy, and there's a crossover, and let me introduce you to this thing, and something you didn't think you liked, and then all of a sudden you found the one that you liked, and now let me experiment or explore this genre, right? And that's kind of all of our journeys, and I'm still doing that and still discovering new things, and it's such a great
Yeah.
thing because it's so wide open,
yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I like about it probably the best is we both love, that's kind of where we started. Both love sharing something new. he was always getting more beer than me. So then it was a challenge for me to try to find something he hadn't had to share with him. And then, since then we've actually got a pretty good street of some people similar ages and kids and just some nice people. So I told my wife, it's like, I just want to have stuff in the fridge at all times in the garage that I could share with people, different styles for different people that like things. If they come over, I want to offer them a beer and show them something new. And that's what we do. So
Well, and you mentioned Sonder. I know for me, Scott probably is this way, but I know for me, if I'm ranking like my top 5 favorite breweries in that area,
mhm.
Sonder is in the top 5, and it's not just because of the beer. I mean, the space is just absolutely tremendous. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys do you guys also when you're ranking, your favorite breweries and talking about that. I mean, certainly it's about the beer, but you're also going in, you're going, man, where I am. I mean, I feel like I'm at a really special place.
Yeah, I would say I'm just, this is off the cuff because again I didn't study, but I would say it's probably 70% is the beer, but then we
Yeah.
are considering what's the food options, what's the atmosphere, what's the space like, how easy is it to park, all those things. I think it's the whole experience. Mostly the beer for us as beer lovers, but I think that there are the other pieces that go into it for sure. So
Yeah, I think I could forgive a bad space or a below average space if the beer and the food is still good.
yeah,
But there are places where you go in, either inside or outside, and if it's impressive, you're like, wow, this like I think like yeah, you guys have been to Northern Row, right? When you go into Northern Row, you're like, this place is just beautiful and like
yeah.
it's amazing. You feel like you're in some historical old tap room, and it's really really cool. So
So we had been to Northern Row, and then back in December when I was up there, um, I was in town visiting family, and then one of our friends has been on the podcast. She's on social media, Liz. Every day I'm bubbling. We've got
Mhm.
together, and we went into Northern Row, and I was sitting there at the bar, and we were about to leave, and I said to the beer tender, "Hey man, we got our Brewery Underground podcast sticker. Can we put it up?" She calls the general manager over there, and he puts the sticker up. He christens it. I got video of it, and then he goes, "You got about 10 more minutes? I'd like to take you downstairs and show you like some history." And then we
yeah,
got them on the podcast.
Yeah, we listened to
Um,
that one. Yeah.
and that's actually turned out to be one of our most listened to podcasts. I think it ranking number 1 for us right now?
It's
Yeah.
number one. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
number 1.
It was a great podcast. Those guys are awesome. We've obviously been there, but we haven't filmed there yet. And after listening to your
Yeah.
podcast, it's like, man, we got to bump them up the list. We got to get over to Northern Row again and do some content. So
yeah.
And that was just a night that, I didn't expect any of that. Um, but I was like, it'd be great to get them on because we're always trying to get different breweries on. And they were just, they were just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you're talking about that space over there. I mean, it is tremendous, and the history of it is just absolutely, that way as well.
When we go for in the fall, we have every intention of doing, because they invited us to, and we actually talked about it. We're gonna do a podcast from Northern Row. We're gonna do it
it's
from
awesome.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe record it. You guys come join us or something, depending on what that is. But we have every intention of doing it from there, and maybe esoteric. They mentioned it too, so we might knock out 2 while we're there.
Yes.
Again, adding more days, but
Yeah.
Yeah, Esoteric's definitely worth it too. They have a good space too. They have great beers. I don't know if you saw it. We recently released a
Yes.
2-part episode from Esoteric.
Yes.
Just the passion they have for the craft and what Nick does and Brian, all that. It's an awesome place. So
Yeah, we went there. Again, that was another place. Esoteric. I always, if you listen to the podcast every once in a while, the joke becomes Steve has this growing list, which I do. But Esoteric had been one that every time I come up there, I'm like, got to get there, got to get there, got to get there. And when we were up there back in May of last year, I said to Scott, I said, we're getting to Esoteric, and I had their beer purchased at a party store. So I'd already had some of their beer and liked it all and went in there, and I wasn't sure like what to expect just in terms of how long we're going to be here and are we going to move on to other things. And Scott, talk about that visit, man, because I mean, it exceeded our expectations. It really did.
Well, we were emailing John back and forth. Hey, we're coming up or whatever, and we were kind of coordinating the podcast or whatever. He goes, when you guys get here, come say hello. And I didn't know. I walked up and got a beer first, and then we went kind of sat down and kind of, hey, John, we're here. John was the one that poured me the beer. Hadn't met him yet, and then he comes over and then and I was, oh, I know you. But we got to hang out with John and Anik, and Brian was back there for a little bit, and just hanging out, and like one beer after another, and like after about 2 hours, I go, guys, are we holding you up from anything? We're just kept bringing out beer, stronger beer after stronger beer. And it was fantastic,
Yeah.
but great. I mean, just a great, you guys know them and hung out with them. They are fantastic people.
Yep. That's where
Yeah.
we got the Valkyrie from, was from John.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got such a great story anyway, just in terms of starting there, I guess, basically as a beer tender and wanting to become, a brewer, and then learning from the owner who had ties to Mad Tree, and so to see how much success she's having, and to see that I don't know if it's the right thing to say, but I kind of feel like they're a sleeper brewery to a degree in Cincinnati. I don't know if they get as much love as some of the bigger ones do.
I think they're definitely underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you go in there, it's probably the most posh or swank brewery that there is in the area too.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very nice interior. So.
Yes,
Mhm.
and they always have like featured artists that they switch out all their original artwork on the walls and everything. So it's
Yeah.
it's got and they have a very loyal following. I can tell just from the couple times we've been there now that they definitely have their devotees that go there on the regular.
Will you guys talk about that episode you guys did? Because I watched part 2 today, and it's a 2-parter. And first part was pretty much, you had Anik on there, and that was fabulous. We love talking to her. She's a great interview. She had a good time with you guys. You guys were having a good time. Will you talk about that and that whole, because you called it Quintessence, right?
Oh yeah.
You were there
Yeah.
for
Quintessence. Yeah. Yep.
Quintessence. Yeah, I'm gonna edit the quintessence part out.
Scott, you're editing. That's like all.
Yes, I know.
You got the control.
Yeah, so they had Quintessence, which was a Belgian beer event. They brought in, not only did they brew a bunch of Belgian beer, they brought in Belgian food, and they even had like a jazz band there too. Try to create a whole thing, and we found out about it last year, just a little too late. And I was like, how did we miss this? Because if you listen to us at all,
Belgium.
we love our Belgian beers. But we went there. They had a flight, the Quintessence flight. We were prepared to get that because they had 8 beers, but we did not know that it wasn't just tasters. It was like 8 ounce.
It was
like
8 ounce taste. Yeah.
So we really had to like make it a little bit of a longer day than we anticipated, just to kind of work it in and to work in some food and all that. But it was just a great event. It was like our first time getting to sit down and talk to a brewer or an owner or anything like that. And after doing that, I said, we've got to make sure we keep doing that. Cause like, it's fun to review the beers and talk about what we think about the beers. But I think, when you can bring in a brewer or owner, not only do we learn more, but I feel like for the viewer, like they're learning things that they may not have known too. So I just think it makes for a more entertaining, more interesting episode.
You guys were literally drinking the beer that she made while she was sitting next to you, talking to you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And just her passion for brewing, and we've done that a few times now. Just getting a sense of like what is their passion, what is their style, what do they like to do. I think you said it's nice to talk to someone who's as nerdy about beer as we are, probably more. So
Yeah.
At the end of that, at the end of part 2, you guys had got the waffle, right? The Belgian waffle.
Yes.
And when you come back in, and Ryan, you're eating yours, and Matt said that he goes, I already ate mine. Like I couldn't wait. It was hard.
Yeah, that's true. He was off playing arcade games, and I was chowing down, and I did not want to wait. So
that's right. I would get it while it's fresh, right?
Looks like we're opening up another beer here. I'm going to time mine when I interview you guys.
So I am pouring Grainworks Ellie 44, named for Ellie De La Cruz, and it's an American IPA.
Yay! Go Ellie!
Yeah.
And now I've switched to what he had previously, which is the Valkyrie from Esoteric that John was nice enough to give us.
Yeah.
We have done a review of this, but we haven't yet posted it.
Yeah, it's coming.
That'll be
soon,
coming
so,
soon.
Yeah.
Well, I just opened up Yeah, and I just opened up the got another Rheingeist here that I have not had. Little house cat Pilsner. So looking forward to having this one too. Go ahead, Scott.
I've got one I got from Tavor, so it's not local at all. It came from wherever. It's called Busy Bee. Little
That's
House
okay.
Brewing. I don't know where they came from. It's a cold
Little
style
House?
ale with Little House apparently on the prairie, or maybe not. But anyway, it's a cold style ale with honey, strawberry, and peach.
I knew there had to be honey in there with the name B in the title.
We had something
Yeah.
from Little House. I think it was a pumpkin ale back in fall, didn't we?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
They all blend together for me. I have to look on Untapped to remember
Yeah,
anymore.
That's one of the beauties of Untapped is knowing when
Yes.
and where and if you liked it or not.
Yeah.
Speaking of Untapped, one thing I wanted to say to you guys, I tell people every so often that I've had, I don't know what I'm up to now, 1,200 beers in Untapped, and they just look at me like I'm a legend. Ryan's had like 2,500. I looked at one of your Untapped that was like 12,000 or something
There's Scott.
insane like that.
That's Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a
I feel like
problem.
a mere peon in the beer world now. So.
It's we had a guy on that he's approaching 50,000 uniques. He's already past 50,000
Wow.
overall. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
Sean.
I only check into mine if I've never had it before or if I feel like my opinion has changed.
Right.
I was like, I don't need to know how many beers I've been drinking.
Total.
Well,
But for me,
what's
it's
fun-
more of a tool. So when I go shopping, I go, have I had this before? What did
Yeah.
I think of it? And that sort of thing.
So
Yeah.
what's funny is I think I got on Untapped like 2017, but
Me
Scott
too.
was on it, during that time and even before, and he's like, "Gotta check in your beer." And I was like, "Nah," and then I think when we started getting more into doing a podcast, I was a little late to the game where I was like, "Okay, now for market research, I got to check in my beers." What was really funny? So the other day we were doing a podcast episode from a tap room near my house, and they had Rheingeist Cheetah on tap. And I said to Scott, I said, "Can you believe?" And I didn't get it that day, but I said, "Can you believe?" I said, "That's one of their older beers that they came out with." And I said, "I have never rated it on Untapped because I had it such a long time ago before I started rating beers."
Actually, Cheetah's probably one of my favorite just straight lagers from
Yeah.
the area. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Whenever I look on Untapped and I see your check-ins, appreciate it because I was like, oh, these guys get it. They understand what the proper rating for a beer is. There's some people we follow, they're like 4.5, 4.7. Like all the beers aren't that good.
Right.
They're like, I was like, these guys kind of understand like what the range is for a quality beer and versus like a fabulous gotta have it again beer.
Yeah, and for us was talking to and not that we gave everything like crappy ratings just because we didn't like the style, but the more we've talked to brewers, the more I realize there's somebody on the other side of this thing too. So, if you boil it down and hey, just rate to style. If you just rate to the style of nothing else, you'll do okay, right? You'll give it a fair rating. It's just the ones that we've had this conversation 100 times. If you don't like the style and you give it a crappy rating, it's not the brewer's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
So
yeah,
what? We always love having this conversation though. So like based on your rankings, like where is your line of demarcation where if you're checking it in, like I'll say for example for me, if I'm checking in a beer and it's like less than 3.50, then I'm gonna rate it in. I've got to the point where I probably just check it in and I don't rate it anymore, and because I don't want to give the brewery a bad rating. And so I'm just like, oh, I'll just check it in. And Scott will laugh at me. He goes, "You didn't like that beer, did you?" I'm like, well, it may not have been for me, but I don't want to crap on it, necessarily. I just know from me, and it's how you use maybe the Untapped app. I use it from a more of myself and going, I'm just not probably going to drink it again, and that's okay. But I'm not trying to crap on the brewery. So where do you guys stand as far as like where your line is of going, okay, this is sort of the lowest, and we obviously we know what the highest ranking is on Untapped.
Yeah. I always put a score behind it, and a big part of that is so that I know what I thought of it.
Yeah.
I think like you, we do try to be sensitive to the breweries, but we've just had some bad beers, and it's like, all right, we got to be honest, that was crap. So it happens. We do try to consider, the style a little bit. I like most beer styles. There's a style I have not been able to like yet, so that it will get a little bit of a lower rating for me, but I still try to be fair. We try to think about execution and stuff like that. But the number a lot of times is for me to know would I drink that again or not, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always used just like a 3 as like an average beer. So like if it's a 3, like I told him early on, I was like, that's like like just like a domestic beer that you would drink is a 3. So anything else is like above that. Now like 3.5, you're getting into good territory, and then once you get 4 and above, and then we started early on calling it 4 Club when we started this.
Yeah.
Like anything in the 4 Club is like you can go back to it anytime and you're gonna be happy.
Yep.
Yes.
That's upper echelon right there, 4 and above.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the last
and if you guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but anytime you guys do a check-in and I toast it, it's because you put it in the 4 Club. That's my way.
I have
of,
not
Oh,
really.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You get
Okay.
Thanks for letting us know.
No,
I have to
gotta
be
go back.
selective about what I'm toasting. I can't be toasting everything. Yeah.
I understand. And I've tried in the last few years, really kind of to what I was saying earlier, appreciating things more. I'm liking styles more, certain styles I like better. I'm trying to give up, like I used to save a 4 for like exclusive. Oh God, I don't know if this deserves a 4. Now it's, a lot of them deserve a 4. You can go 4 and above and, be good. You don't have to give them a 5, but 4 I'm giving more 4s than I ever have before because they deserve it.
Yeah.
I think we've experienced that same thing. I think through this, like I've even deepened my appreciation to just simple traditional styles.
Sure,
We have so many brewers. We used to go for like, what's the outrageous weird thing that you can't get anywhere else? Usually it came from street side or something like that. But now it's like even just like the traditional styles you get at Wooden Cask or Northern Row. Like we've had some where like this has got to go in the 4 Club for this style. Like it's executed so well and it just deserves it. So,
Well, and to that point, I think we learned too some along the way that while we love the IPAs, they're easier to make, easier to fudge. Some of those classic styles, there's no hiding behind dumping in more fruit or whatever it is, So it gave us more of an appreciation for a very well executed lager and a very well executed amber or red or whatever it is. So,
well, and I love telling
You're
this.
gonna love.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick, Steve. You're gonna love the box we sent today because it's got two. It's the two. What we just talked about. The two opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got 2 Zools in there with some heavy adjuncts, right? And then I gave you two. I gave him 2 Stokehouses, a Pilsner, and I think it's a pub ale. Or a lager and a pub ale. So 2 traditional, which the brewer we love here, and then the Zool stuff. So you're going to get, both are good, but they're going to be 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. So you're going to get some of that and experience both of them.
Looking forward to all of them.
can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah, I just checked in that Zool last night. It's got to given me, a couple days prior, the PB&J ones where it was the PB&J cherry, and I did rate it high. Now on those anymore, I get them and I go, they're coming in a 16-ounce can, and it's good. I'd probably rather have it more on a flight or something like that than in a 16-ounce can. I'm not going to take it negative down or anything like that. But real quick, going back to what you were talking about, cleaner beers, the story I like to tell was when Scott and I, we went to, if you're familiar with Hop and Frog.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they do, they do a lot of different beers way out there, like different pastry stouts and everything else. And we went through there last year. We were only there for like an hour and a half because we were on our way. And I got in a flight and I had got a couple of those. And then on the flight, I got in their Pilsner and I looked at Scott and I said, of everything on this flight, I think I like the Pilsner the best. And he had to get it too.
Wow.
And then when we had him on,
we were about to leave and I said, no.
And when we got them on, I think they I don't think they were taken aback by it. I think they were pleasantly pleased by the fact that, hey, you know what? We're glad that you guys also do clean beers. While we appreciate the other stuff you're doing, you also can do a good clean Pilsner. And I really like that too. I love breweries that are doing that because, as you guys say, they're not hiding anything. And they know how to produce overall good beer, no matter what it is.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. And Northern Row and as you said, Wooden Cask earlier are kind of 2 that just really do the standard stuff super, super well. So
Have you guys, by the way, we were talking about the PB&J beers. Have you seen, because Scott and I have had this discussion a little bit, we have not really seen the trend of PB&J beers in too many parts of the country. Have you seen any breweries up there in the Cincinnati area producing any of those?
Well, the reason why I saw that Zool had it and I asked you guys, like, hey, can you send us one? Is because when our first brewery trip was to Fabled, and they have the Wicked Witch,
Huh?
which
Yeah.
is a peanut butter jelly, and we were both blown away by it. And then for our Halloween special, we had gone to Fabled because they did 6 variants of it, and we reviewed all 6 of the variants for our Halloween special.
Yeah.
But I still have 1 can of the PB&J grape in my fridge. So I was like, we got to get a hand of that Zool, and we're going to do a little head-to-head competition and just to see, because we have already in our minds that we're going to have a few episodes where we take 2 beers that are just so very similar, and then we just see which one we like better. So that's our kind of our plan.
Drink 'em
So
blind.
but the one we had at Fabled, like, I think I can still remember how I felt when I first drank that beer. I was like, this is a liquid peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't know how I'm tasting the Wonder Bread, but I taste the Wonder Bread too.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was a magical moment. I've never had a beer like that. I think we were in love as soon as we drank that beer. So
You'll be impressed with the Zool too. I'm not gonna say it's better. I'm just saying you'll be impressed because it's got those same things. I was talking to the owner the other day because I went to the mixtape day, and he goes, "You won't believe this." He goes, "The one I sent, the grape, it's still the same exact original recipe. Like they haven't tweaked it since day one. It's still the same exact thing, and it's the same thing you just said. It's like it hits you, and you're like, I know where I was when I had it for the first time.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love it when you have like a certain beer that, like, it kind of the opposite of what we were just talking about, like is not traditional at all. And it kind of opens your mind like, oh, this is beer. This is what beer can be, or they can do this with beer.
Yeah.
And those are the ones you kind of remember because they're just so unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm curious to know how quick, because I know your specials you've done. We've done stuff like the thing at Esoteric and even Bachfest, we want to talk about too. But you guys turned those around pretty quickly because I know it's kind of timely and stuff. Are most of your videos that way? Are you turning them around pretty quickly, or kind of what's your time frame turning those things around?
Yeah, we try. So for Bachfest especially, we knew we were going to do a really fast turnaround because we wanted it to be posted when it was kind of relevant still. Yeah. I would say most stuff, it's inside of a month from filming it to posting it. A lot of times less than that. We have to shift the schedule around sometimes, or, something pops up and we're like, oh, we got to post this sooner. But yeah,
lately we've actually been operating with less margin than we typically do.
Yeah, that's true.
Like there was a time where he had to take a lengthy trip to California. I said, dude, we need to get out in front and start getting content and just have a stockpile. I said, because we need not only to cover when you're gone, but we need to be able to have some of the time when you're back covered too.
Yeah.
So right now I feel like I'm like, oh, we don't have very much, but we do. We're probably good through the end of this month already.
Yeah.
We just did a trip to Narrow Pack, so I have to edit that. We got to talk to Chad Powers, who's the owner and the head brewer there. So that was cool. And like I said, we just did a styles class yesterday that I have to edit. And typically week and a half, 2 weeks or so is about right for those longer ones.
And it's probably no secret if you pay attention to our apparel. When we do a Porch beer, when we sit down to film, we probably film 4 at least Porch beers.
Yeah.
That's 8 days of content right there, posting every other day. So, and the fact that we split them when we do it, it makes it easy to tack a bunch on. So you can bank them pretty quickly that way.
Yeah. One good thing about living next to each other is whenever we do one, we can just split the beer. So it's not like we're drinking 4 beers a night. So it makes it a lot easier for that reason.
Yep.
You can sneak out in the middle of the night and be like, Matt, real quick, I got an idea. Come on, we got to knock one out real quick. I got an idea. Kind of thing.
Well, funny story. And so when we were talking about, it wasn't funny that Listerman closed, but a funny story on that was Scott and I had an episode that we had recorded like 2 weeks prior to Listerman closing. It was just, I don't even remember what it was. It was talking about the beer scene and things like that. And we do that every once in a while. and then Listerman closes, and the episode was going to come out like 5 days after. But in between that time, not only did Listerman close, also it was announced that Zool was taking over Southern Grist.
Okay, yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, we got to record this. We got to record that. So it was like we went in and we had to we had to redo that episode a little bit of making sure that, we were trying to be timely, and we, started off talking about what was going on in our neighborhood of Zool and Southern Grist. And then we ended it with, hey, here was our love for, Listerman. They closed. So that was kind of wild and funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had not necessarily the Listerman closing to that weight, but we've had a few things where it's like we had something slated that we had filmed ready to go, and then some event pops up or we got an invite somewhere, and we're like, okay, we got to give them attention since they invited us to this thing or this event. We got to post that sooner. So we definitely shift the schedule around a lot as needed. So,
Yep.
Have you guys been a little surprised? I don't know how much if you have been at these breweries or not, but a couple of them that closed. I was really sad that Bad Tom Smith closed, because Scott and I have been there a couple of times, and I don't know if you all had been there. Really loved that place. I was a little, I was a little surprised. We had been to, we know the story about Brewdog. They closed a lot of locations. We have been there a couple times, and then March 1st it closed their downtown location. But
Right, the 16 lots closed.
So well, the story behind that was 16 lots for us was I had been up there. We had just started the podcast, and I'd been up there. I went there, and we were going to get them on. And the day that we were going to get them on, they called and they said, "Hey, we're shutting our doors tonight."
Yeah, we were
And then they
5 minutes, not
reopened.
literally 5 minutes, but we were 5 minutes from like recording with them. It was that close.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they
Wow.
reopened for a brief period of time, and Scott had not been, and so we went, and we were going to try to get him on again. And I don't know. I think that they overreached at that location because, I don't know if you all had been there or not, but it was
Yeah.
it was
well,
a
we
tremendous
had-
space. But it was like, wow.
Yeah, we had gone to their original location in Mason,
Yeah.
Okay,
but never the one in Newport. And at first
Okay. Yeah.
I thought the one in Newport, I was like, well, that location will close, but the one in Mason will be fine. But he shut them both down. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a shame because that one right there by the bridge, man, that was a primo spot. And we had a great time there. We were there. We ate. They had the windows open, the doors open. We kind of sat, you're kind of inside outside right there eating and drinking, and then hell, they closed up and we had beers. We were sitting out there still, like watching, looking at the river and drinking beers, and it was a great spot. And it's a shame.
Yeah.
You got to wonder if someone else won't want to swoop in and get that spot.
Yeah, it's primo.
I don't know. It's been an odd area over the years, but the other one that comes to mind that I know, when we were up there last year, in fact, when we were esoteric, they had mentioned it to us when we were there. Wasn't necessarily surprised because they had closed their location here, but we went to Highwire a couple times when they were there in Norwood. Now it's the Braxton, and I know we're definitely going to get there because that's a tremendous space too. So, have you guys been to that location?
You've been out to the Factory 52, right?
Yeah, I've been to the. Isn't it a fretboard in there?
There's a fretboard.
I've been to the fretboard.
Okay.
I think is our Braxton location?
Yeah, there is
there?
now.
Yeah, I haven't been since they put the Braxton location there.
Yeah, where Highwire was.
Yeah.
Great rooftop.
Yeah, and of course they're opening the Braxton location on Fountain Square. That's gonna have a skyline in
Yeah.
the location with Braxton, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. It
Could
might
never
be
get
a good.
Steve out. I have to pull him out of there.
He lives here now.
We have to go.
Well, I've had this argument with people before. When you want to start arguing what's a great night place to go to get some food, and I'm like, Skyline, baby. The hell with your Taco Bell or Waffle House or IHOP. Give me some Skyline.
I agree. And those four.
Yeah. Back in high school and college, I knew of a location that was open 24 hours. So there's many nights where me and my friends were like, let's go to the Skyline.
Yeah.
There's like, 2 people in the entire restaurant, but we were there.
Have they got that location open yet there on Fountain Square?
Not yet. Not to my knowledge. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, Braxton's got a big presence now at Reds games too. I guess they're serving a lot of beer there.
Yeah, we haven't had
Yeah.
that one yet. I'd like to try it, but I figure we need to go to a game to try it to do the real experience. So
I've been hearing. I think from what I know, I think Braxton kind of has like exclusivity in terms of craft beer at the ballpark now.
so they closed the brewery district then.
So either that or it's all different Braxton beers.
Really?
So I
Okay.
have to get confirmation. Maybe there's still a can of Truth somewhere or something, but other
Yeah.
than that, like I think Braxton is kind of the exclusive partner. But I guess now if you want some variety, you can go right across the street to the now Cincinnati Lager House,
Yeah.
Ah.
and they're going to be doing. They don't have their partnership with Moreline anymore, so they're brewing their own stuff. I think they're about to do a partnership with Brink, so Brink is bringing some of theirs there to the
Oh.
Cincinnati Lager House. So we got a
Yay.
little variety there. I don't remember exactly what the details were, but there's something where they're actually going to be brewing with the lager house there. So I don't know if that means there'll be the only one or if there'll be still like a mixture. My thought was like, if you're going to Cincinnati Lager House, you should just represent Cincinnati and let it be kind of like a place where people who are visiting the city can try a little of everything. It's just like highlight all these great breweries we have.
Yeah. The proximity to the ballpark, you can't get any better. I mean, we loved going over there and literally just walk across the street to the ballpark. I mean, It doesn't get any better than that.
So the time we went, you mentioned the Reds game. It was 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
We went to a game in April, and it was memorable because it was like the only day in April that it snowed, and we were freezing. We made it through like 5 or 6 innings and said, let's go to Moreline, get food and beer, and watch the rest of the game there, and that's what we did. So
Yeah.
Hey, when you guys do your Porch beers and your Porch beer reviews, how do you pick the beer? Is it just, hey, let's pull this out of the refrigerator, we're going to do this one tonight? Or do you kind of jump around from style to style to make sure you got a variety of stuff? Or is there a rhyme or reason to it?
We try to mix up both the styles and the breweries.
yeah,
And we kind of always try to give first love to Cincinnati, but like we're not going to stop drinking a good beer just because of geography. But we do try to like focus mostly on Cincinnati and Ohio beers. But there'll be times where I'll be at Jungle Jim's, which I go to often, or he'll go to Root Cellar, which is near his work. And we're just sort of like, oh, I saw this, so I picked this up. We thought this would be interesting. And then from there, we have a spreadsheet, and we're just populating the spreadsheet and like putting in like what beers we think should be Porch beers, what beers we know we have at hand where we could just do a simple Instagram review. Sometimes we fit in like little reviews on Instagram that are not on YouTube. It's just really like what sounds good or what would be of interest to people.
Yeah, and we do try to go a little seasonal with it. Well, we try to in winter we're drinking more stouts but there'll be a random IPA pops up that's like a winter IPA or something, so we try to kind of follow what's seasonal, but it's, as we like to say, we kind of follow our beer heart with it,
Yeah.
What sounds good, what interests me. If I see something at Roots, I'm like, oh, that sounds really good, I'll look it up and on Tapped real quick and see kind of what the flavor profiles are, how it's reviewing, and sometimes it's just a whim. So
yeah,
I think it's the best way. I mean, you don't have to have a rhyme or reason. It's just, hey, let's just do this one.
Yeah. We often share posts on Instagram with each other too, like, hey, this one is coming out or this one's out, and we're like, okay, remember that. Like just today, Rheingeist announced they're having some sort of a lemonade shandy called Summer coming out. And I was like, well, that's good, perfect for summer. So we're gonna have summer and summer.
Yeah,
there you go.
By the way, you guys recently checked in one of my all-time favorite Rhine guys, if not my favorite, that I always try to get once a year. Usually it's in the wintertime. That would be Rheingeist Inc.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a very different style. I was not prepared for what I was going to taste, but I enjoyed it. It was good. I was just like, there's like so much going on. There like a lot of complexity that you don't expect with a typical stout.
Well, I read your review on it, and that's certainly fair. I love it. I usually get it when I'm up there. I usually come up in like early December, and I think it's a good winter beer. So I'll usually drink it around the holidays, keep it in the refrigerator for a few weeks or whatever. But I've got it over the years, and of like their barrel aged stuff, I've always thought that was one of the better ones that they do. So.
Yeah, that's when I bought that Root Cellar. They had in a bottle a barrel aged variety with like Puerto Rican coffee or something in it. And I really wanted to get that one, but I was like, we haven't had the standard ink yet. So hopefully maybe next stout season we'll get the barrel aged in the bottle. So
Yeah. Well, and they do a lot of different variety of stuff too. And it's interesting with Rhine guys because you talk about different places going. The last time I was in town, I went to Jungle Gyms. I wasn't there long. But I went to Jungle Gyms and got in there and got some local stuff. And then I always try to get the party source, usually on my way out of town. And Rheingeist over like the last year and a half or so, I haven't seen as many different offerings from them at the stores. I mean, they have their core stuff, but they used to be, 3 or 4 years ago, man, there would always be a lot of different things from them, in can. I think they put a lot of that on tap in the tap room more. So
They seem to have more, like you said, a lot of their standard, like kind of flagship beers everyone expects. Every once in a while, they'll sneak in some sort of IPA. Like we had the cold IPA called Pixel. We reviewed that.
That's pretty good.
He actually has a tropical IPA sitting in his fridge right now that they just came out with. Expressionism.
I don't think it's new, but yeah, it's out for the season.
Yeah,
maybe.
so we're about to try that one soon.
yeah, I think these two tonight are the first new Rhine guys I've checked in a while that I've had. So enjoying both of them.
Can you guys recall the drunkest you've ever been on one of your reviews or outings or anything like that? and maybe never, but was there a time you're like, oh, it's caught up with us?
So I can speak to that one pretty easily. Part of what we do, we really don't like to get drunk. I wouldn't lie to you and say we never feel it, but I don't like to feel like I don't know how I'm getting home or do I have to leave a car somewhere. I mean, I had my party days, I've mentioned before. Those are long past. I'm old. My body can't handle that much alcohol. I really don't drink a lot, honestly, in one sitting. What we do now is really for the craft, for the enjoyment of it. Sure, you drink a couple, depending on how much you ate, might feel a little buzzed, but we have neither one of us has been drunk, I would say.
We've been drunk, but there have been a few times where I was like, we had a good night. And you could tell even as the episode kind of went along, we got a little looser as it went. I think,
sure.
Yeah.
Like Wooden Cask, I think, kind of went that way. Wooden Cask was kind of a whole different animal on its own.
Yeah, well, then we got a bunch of smoked meats, and it was all better. So.
Yeah. You just got to know what your threshold is and know that you need to eat some food and drink some water, and you just can't. Yeah, like you said, like we got to drive home, so we got to make sure we're safe to do that.
Scott knows that about me, where I have a threshold, and I'm like, all right, time to get some food. I can gear up after this. Time to get some food.
Go get food.
Yeah, it's that old cliche, like your body just does not handle it well the older you get. And I had an episode, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago where I took it too far, and man, that was enough for me to remember where my threshold is and not to do it again. So
yeah. I'm right there with you. Like for as many as I've had, it's like at some point it's like, okay, I'm kind of done, or if I'm home and if I can sleep in, if it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, and I can if I'm already home and sleeping, that's one thing. But it's I gotta to get up to go to answer the bell on Tuesday morning. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, for example, this past weekend we did a podcast at a brewery right up the street from where I live, which was kind of cool because I live about a half hour south of Nashville. Scott and I live about a half hour from each other, and we did a podcast from a brewery, had a couple beers there. Then we went to a beer festival in East Nashville, and then we went to Zool afterwards. And when we got to Zool and I had some food, I was like, okay. After about halfway on the flight, I said, all right, I think I'm done. It's time to go home. Had enough for the day.
Yeah, and it's just not worth it for me. It's not fun when you have to get to that point. So honestly, yes, it's beer. Yes, you're gonna feel a little something. I tend to be kind of reserved, and sure, I open up a little bit when I have beer. But really, we're drinking it for the craft, for the love, for the passion of the beer, for the flavor. All those things. So
I went once to one of the Cincinnati beer festivals, and at the time it was down by the river, and it was supposed to be that you had like 24 tickets, and you give them a ticket and you get a little 4-ounce, and there was over 30 breweries at this place. But like
Yeah.
it became apparent pretty quick that they weren't taking the tickets. So like I'm sitting there, and of course me, like I'm on Untapped. I could check into all these beers. But then after I got going, I don't even think I made it to 24. I was like, I need to go get some food. Me and my friends and everything, we were like, you got to go. And now, like, I think about that so differently now. Like, there's still lots of beer festivals and things that come up.
Yeah.
But like, is the beer festival to show off something and to like show the craft? Or is it just an excuse for like lots of drinking and silent disco and whatever else? So like in June, is it? Yeah, like early June, we're going to be going to the Missing Link Festival at Urban Artifact.
Yeah.
And like that's one where it's like there's something to it. Like they have like a set number of breweries that all said, yes, we want to take this yeast that we found down in a tunnel and see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Like to me, that interests me. I want to like see the art and the craft that's behind just using the same yeast in all these beers and seeing what all these breweries come up with.
Yeah, even you mentioned earlier Bachfest. Even Bachfest felt a little too much to me. Like it was about just drinking as much as you could, and I mean, you're gonna have that anywhere you go. So I'm not trying to judge too much, but it was a lot. That day in Bachfest was a lot for me. You know?
Well, I think you got to find that balance where you're going, what style is going to fit me and which brewery do I want to target? Because I know, we went to a beer festival over the weekend in East Nashville, and there were a couple of breweries that I really wanted to go to and see. I don't even know how many breweries they had there, but I was like, there's no way I'm having even a taster from every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
You have to be selective.
That was one of the beer fests though that they actually were showing off the beer because all the brewers were there, from the brewery. So it was one of those ones where like, it's kind of special. It was kind of nice. You knew everybody and that kind of thing. But you mentioned like a GABF and if it's 5 hours long, 2 hours in, you're picking up people off the floor and that kind of thing. So that's a whole nother thing.
Got to pace yourself. You don't want to be that guy.
No.
You guys did something cool last fall at Cincinnati. You probably did several things cool, but you met Jim Cook from Sam Adams, and you got to talk to him. And I thought that was cool as hell. Talk about that experience. Like, did you just walk up to him and be like, "Hey, Jim, how you doing?"
Oh, we were just like, that was one of our first things. We were like, oh, people know who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we got an invite from some public relations company to come do this special little happy hour with Jim Cook. And then we get there and there's a bunch of other influencers and content creators from Cincinnati there. And, we met some other like beer related content creators like Rod J Beer Ventures, who we've become friends with. And like, so there's just like a little bit of Q&A. And then afterwards, he just made himself available where each content creator kind of come up and just talk to him a little bit. And we just learned that he really loves his Boston lager.
That's it.
He's a simple man.
It's the original. It's the original.
Yeah, but that was a great experience. That's when that's when we became aware, I guess, that this thing that we started could actually open some doors that we did not expect.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. That was the first open door, and I was taken aback by some of the other content creators. They'd be like, "Oh, hey, you guys are the Cincy Brew Dads. I love your channel." Like, we're just doing this for us. I didn't know anybody watched us.
No, that's awesome. And that's another place too. You talk about Sam Adams up there, and of course it's Sam Adams, but the space is absolutely tremendous.
Yeah. It's a cool space. I'm sure you saw, and we did our special back in December where we got to spend time with Keith McElly there, and just had a really great time. They've been really good to us, inviting us to events, and
they invited us for Utopias, which was a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah. So you had Utopias then?
Yeah, we had the 25 edition, right? So
Yeah, that was our first time having it, and it was special.
It's something. It's something.
That's an Uber ride home.
we had a 1 ounce pour of it.
Well, it's funny because when we went to Sam Adams and we talked with Keith McKelly, like we were like, we keep hearing about this Utopias. What is this? And he explained it to us, and then just like a month later, we're drinking it, and it's like, okay, this is cool. So that was nice.
That's that beer. I swear I use that term loosely, but they call it beer, which is banned in like 25 states and all that kind of stuff. But it's unique. As a matter of fact, the first time I ever had it, Steve bought it, but it was before it was $200 a bottle. Remember that, Steve? Out there, man? He brought a kid. It was like the early rendition of Utopias or something.
I was shocked. It was one of my trips up there. You know, whenever I get up there, I try. I don't always get the Jungle Gyms in Fairfield. I try. And I walked in the Jungle Gyms and I looked up at the shelf and they had a couple of bottles of Utopia. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And it didn't cost that much then. I think it was maybe about $30, maybe $40.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
I remember, you know, I was like texting pictures to Scott and I was like, oh my God, look at this, you know, and it's funny because, you know, ever since I've been back at that, I've never, ever found or seen those on the shelves. And I think that was it was just one of those things. It was like it was like a shooting star moment. I look up and there it is, you know, being in the right place at the right time.
I'm literally at Jungle Gyms pretty much every 2 weeks at the Fairfield location, and I can't recall ever having seen it there. And in my time,
Yeah.
It's, you know, I mean, they now package it in like, it comes in like a pot still container. It's $200 some dollars. Secondary is $400 or $500. It's ridiculous what it is now. And
you can rub it and the genie comes out. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yes. I kind of feel like, because every time when you go to GABF, they have certain times of the day where they release it and they say, hey, it's 6:25, you know, we're going to serve, and everybody gets in line. And I'm like, I've had it. I'm going to go in these other lines where that used to be busy. You guys have a 1-year anniversary coming up in July.
Yes,
we do.
And I think you've got an event kind of planned around it too. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually, it was Ryan. He said, hey, you know, July 11th is our first post, so we should celebrate that as our 1-year anniversary. Can't believe it's already coming up. That's kind of wild to me. Been doing it that long. Thank you. Yep. And then we said we come up with a short list of, you know, let's reach out to a brewery who could host a party. You know, we're not going to ask for anything, just a space, and all our friends and anybody that's been a fan of the channel. And we said, you know, Third Eye feels like the right place. That was our first pick. We reached out. They were all about it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got to get around talking about our favorites, but I think Third Eye probably is my favorite brewery in the area. Might probably his too. So
I hate to number them because I love them so much. It's like trying to pick your kids. So I'll say, Third Eye's in my top 3 for sure. So.
Yeah, but I just reached out to them and they were like, and I said, you know, like, we love your beer. Obviously, like, we've already reviewed like 9 of your beers in 8 months. They got back to us. They're like, yeah, what day do you want? Do you want Sharonville? Do you want Hamilton? And they were very gracious. So we're like, okay, so we're just going to have a spot for 4 hours from 4 to 8 p.m. on the 11th of July. If you guys can make it Cincinnati, feel free to come up. We're just going to have beers, like, just basically have people come by and just hang out and just celebrate the fact that we made it a year.
That's
so
fantastic.
Guys, I have to tell you this. It just so happens I'm going to be in town then.
Awesome.
Should come.
But that day, I'm going to be at the Reds game.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a family outing. We do a family outing. My family does every year, and it's that day. I laughed when I saw the time because I think the Reds game is going on around that time. But I'm going to be up there for probably about 4 or 5 days, and hopefully, if it works out, maybe I could meet up with you guys at some point. And,
absolutely.
Toast your 1-year anniversary. That'd be awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on, do a porch beer or something together, or meet
that'd
at
be
a
good,
brewery.
Take you to a brewery you've never been,
Yeah,
or
something like
one
that.
You have been, whatever.
That would be cool.
Well,
That'd be
some
a
of
cool-
those ones up there, some of the ones up there that you're talking about, because I used to work up in Hamilton years ago, and so I know the area really well. I haven't gotten, unfortunately, to that many breweries up in that area. I did go to Municipal Brew Works a couple of years ago. I stopped in there real quick and had 2 beers there, and I was like, I need to come back here. But I haven't been to, is it Grainworks?
Oh, yeah, that's in
Westchester.
Westchester. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I have not been to Grainworks.
Yeah.
But I've had some of their beer. I actually picked up I picked up some of their beer at Jungle Gym, so I haven't been up to that location up there.
Well, that would be an easy spot for us to meet because that's not very far of a
May have
drive
to
for
do
us.
it.
maybe.
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute drive for us. So
Yeah.
it's
May
not
have to
that
get her
long.
done. May have to get her done.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep you forever, but do your kids think you're famous because you guys are on like social media and stuff?
I don't know that they think they're famous, but so I've got one adult son and I got two younger kids, and we haven't posted it because they're kids, but we have video where they are drinking milk and pretending to rate it and give it scores and everything. So they've definitely watched us do content and they are keyed into it.
Yeah. What did they say? 3.5 something.
Yeah, well, they said that no, they said they rate it as stars, but then they don't. We talk about like IBUs and things like that, and they don't know what or ABV and what that means. So that I think they said this has 5 chicken nuggets or something today. You know, they're just making up stuff. It's really pretty funny.
That's awesome. Well, you're influential.
Yeah, my kids are all teenagers and above. I think like one of my sons will like sometimes try to throw me advice, asking how many subscribers do you have, and I'm like maybe you should try doing this. I'm like, okay, thank you, all right.
Yeah. Because at that age, they're the social media experts.
Yeah,
They really are.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
really are.
Yeah, no doubt. They probably have their own following doing something. And tell me who does it. It says Cincy Brew Dads. That thing that who does that? Because it's in my head constantly.
AI does that.
there you go, AI.
I love it. I think it's perfect because it's like between segments and like cutaways, and you come back or something. It's kind of I love it so much.
Yeah, I found an AI that is kind of specific to music and vocal generation, and so I've used that for a lot of our music themes and things like that. It's a lot of fun. You can tweak it, give it some different parameters, and it's called Producer AI. And I've also used 11 Labs, which does some more of the vocal stuff here too. So
yeah, we got lucky with the Cincy Brew Dad thing though. I feel like he's like, how's this sound? I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's great. When I listen to something or watch something, and I'll walk around like I'm saying it in my head, like it just hangs around. It's very catchy.
Yeah, there's a local podcast called Truth Beer and Podsequences, and they basically just cover all the Cincinnati beer content from that week.
Yeah.
So whenever they share us, they always have to say it as such, like Cincy Brew Dads. Just because
I love it. I think it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. Definitely learned a lot of different things. Just getting more artistic and trying some stuff, and having a graphic designer has helped a lot. So
there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and the realness that you guys are, like the beer drinkers, comes through. Kind of like I was telling you at the top of this thing, it's like it shows, and that's the part that drew me to you guys. I'm like, yep, those guys are cool.
appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of our goal, is just to, we're not too. We've learned a lot along the way. We're not too technical with it. Just kind of having fun and wanting to share it, and it's all about getting people to go out to these breweries, try some new things, support the local breweries, because as we know, the places, especially in Cincinnati, with so many exceptional breweries, many places will shut down because they are, in another state, another city, they might be a cool place to hang out, but when you got places like Street Side and Third Eye and some of the, the giants, those places aren't going to make it. So just try to get people to support their favorite local places and keep the craft scene going. So
exactly.
Any events that you want to talk about that are coming up that you can talk about, just to kind of put it out there and get people to, outside of the the anniversary thing you got?
Yeah, the anniversary is our big event. We do have some visits already lined up. Like just a couple Saturdays from now, we're going to be at the Third Eye Hamilton for their pretzel day.
Yeah,
where they do several variations of their pretzel beers, which we're really looking forward to.
Yes.
We're still kind of figuring out what we want to do with ourselves in the month of May, because there's a few options there. And then, like I said, in June, we're going to go to Missing Link Festival at Urban Artifact. Check that out. Yep. And then July, we're at our anniversary. So we're always trying to do at least one, if not two, brewery trips a month. And then we've got kind of a different type of variety show we're thinking about doing in the month of May.
Yep.
So I'm gonna hold that one under my hat though, because that one's kind of a fun, different one. That should be exciting. But I mean, really for us, it's just like we're in this situation where every month we're like, okay, what breweries do we have to go to this month?
Yeah. Oh, darn.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, but it's like, do we want to go to one that we've been before, but we love it and we want to go again? Or do we want to go when we've never been before and just get that like first impression of this place? So I
Yeah.
feel like there's a mix there and it helps to do a little bit of both. And like, even aside from Cincinnati, we're only like a 40-minute drive to go to like Branch and Bone up in Dayton. I wouldn't
Mhm.
mind making that trip. So
Absolutely.
there's
yeah.
even places in the neighboring areas that we're also always tempted by too, but we feel like we need to get some more Cincinnati visits, under our
Sure.
belt first.
Well, you guys have great content. It's well produced. It's very good quality, excellent quality. You guys are doing a great job. Please keep it up. I love seeing you guys. As a matter of fact, just before we hopped on, I think it might have been Instagram. There was a new drop or a new release of something just prior to us getting on here today. It was like I got a
We did
notification or something. So,
we posted the Rye on Rye from Boulevard
yeah.
Brewing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
That's a fantastic beer. Wow.
really great beer.
That's so good.
Yep, we're always dropping something every other day. So typically our rhythm is we'll do like 3 Porch beers, and then the next one will be one of our long form videos.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what our next long form is. It'll either be a Styles Clash or maybe the Narrow Path, but
Yeah. Depends on what you want to edit
it
next.
depends on what I have to edit tomorrow.
Yeah.
There you go.
well, awesome. Steve, anything else for these guys?
Well, I was just going to say, I know we mentioned, we're going to be up there October. Scott and I will be up there. I'll be up there before then, but Scott and I are coming Oktoberfest Cincinnati. And I've been before. He has never been. Have you guys ever been to that event?
Well, we went this past year when
Yeah.
we met Jim Cook.
That was the Jim Cook event. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's when we went. But that was the first year where they actually moved it down like onto the river to Sawyer Point.
Sawyer Point. Yep.
Like I had been previously when it was just on 5th Street, and this one, it was just such a better experience. Like I feel like before, I don't know if it was just because you're walking around on the street or whatever, but it just felt like a vendor after vendor with no real character to it or anything.
Mm.
Whereas now it feels more like an actual, event and has a little bit more of like an Oktoberfest sensibility about it.
Are you guys big in Oktoberfest beer? Are you, do you have like a lot of big styles that you like from the breweries up there?
Yes, I love Oktoberfest beers. It's a really great malty. It's one where we really drink seasonal. You get out and the weather starts cooling down. You sit out around a bonfire. You drink an Oktoberfest. You drink a pumpkin beer. That's another style I really love. Fall beers have a special place in my heart for sure. So
Yeah, the Meritzens and the Fest beers, we had several like last year that we loved. There was even like one that Sonder put out, but they did it exclusively with a store here called Dorothy Lane Market.
yeah,
And it was just called Meritzen, and it was great.
and Yellow Springs had a good one
Yeah,
too.
we
That
had
was
one
a
from Yellow
standout.
Springs
Yeah.
Brewery that was exceptional too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Awesome.
funny because we talk every year, it seems like, about, are we reaching a point? It gets earlier and earlier for Oktoberfest season where all these places put out beers. I mean, Northern Row, we had them on. You probably heard the episode where they're like, "Hey, we're having it out all year."
Why not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that part does it is a little hard because pumpkin beers start coming out in August, and it's hot, and I do not want a pumpkin beer. But I've learned I better start buying them for when I want them in October and November.
Yeah, both of our garages around like August and that had we had so many packs of pumpkin beer just sitting there waiting for the right time, because we're like, well, we have to get them now because they won't be here later.
They don't last. Yeah,
Because people grab them, but we wanted to have them for when we needed to drink them and film that content.
Nice. Yeah, it's our favorite time of the year too, beer wise. And it's as a matter of fact, I've not seen it yet because haven't been to the store, but I'm pretty sure Sam's Summer Ale is out right now, and it probably was out for a couple of weeks because it usually comes out in March. So
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, but I'm sure it will be. Yeah,
I'm
very
sure it's
soon.
there somewhere.
it's a good summer
All
ale.
right.
I like it.
I do too. It's
All
matter of fact,
right.
it's my
Yep.
most checked in beer of all time is Sam Summer Ale. Like across the
Wow.
board, it's just crushable. You know, I can drink it cut in the grass. Yeah, I go somewhere they don't have a good variety. They got Sam Summer Ale. Let me get one of those or 6 or
Perfect.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we
it's a
always
good-
laugh too. Is like we have these discussions sometimes of like craft beer drinkers. Like, what would you drink on a 6-pack? And maybe there's not a whole lot of them I would drink on a 6-pack, but I still like them. But like Summer Ale comes out, and then Oktoberfest comes out with Sam Adams, and I'm like, oh, I could drink those on a 12-pack. You know, I'll
Yeah.
buy a 12-pack and then
Absolutely.
extend out through the day. So anyway,
Yep.
good 1-2 punch.
all right, guys, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate the support. Looking forward to linking up with you here soon. So
Yes,
We
definitely.
will.
yeah,
Cheers to you guys. But on a way out, and you guys get the last word. Will you recite your tag phrase that you do on our way out?
yes. Open porch, open minds, open gullets. Cheers, guys. Cheers.
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 Brewery
Cheers,
Underground
boys.
Podcast.